Sanctuary cities are a disaster. Why New York City and the District of Columbia prove it's not working. So this is a video by Valuetainment. Let's go. Boost that video.
Let me ask you a question. You think cops should be able to go up to anybody and ask them for their ID? You think
No.
that's racial profiling, or you think that's something that's okay?
I don't think that's okay.
If you say that's racist, you believe in sanctuary cities. If you say that's why we have cops, I want you to check an ID with somebody and say, hey, is this guy up to something good or bad? You're somebody that doesn't believe in sanctuary cities. In America, we have 11
okay, I don't know what the fuck sanctuary cities are, but I sure as fuck know that if they walk up to you and they say, hey, yo, do you have an ID? And like you don't have an ID, that like right then and there, they could just fucking arrest your ass. I think that's bullshit. Like, what if you forgot your ID at home? You know? Like, there's a number of reasons why you don't have your ID with you, but what the fuck? Like, why is that? What the fuck's I don't even know what the fuck a sanctuary city is.
sanctuary states: California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Vermont, Washington State, and Washington, D.C.
Yep, sure as fuck ain't Florida, because in Florida you get your ass arrested if you don't have your ID on you.
These are sanctuary states. Aside from the 11 states, we have 500 cities in America that are sanctuary cities. A total of 20 million people living in those cities. That's 6% of our population, where they say we believe in sanctuary cities. What is a sanctuary city? The term was first used in 1980 to describe cities that refuse to cooperate with federal government's Immigration and Naturalization Service, INS.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sanctuary as in, like, if I'm illegal and I found my way into one of these cities, I'd be safe. Therefore, sanctuary. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when it comes into, like, when it comes into question, like, people who are here illegally and stuff like that, should they be? Let me see. How do I feel about that? Do I care about illegal immigrants being here in the country? To a certain degree, I do. I also think that like for example, when it comes to America, we have a lot of people coming in from a lot of different places for a lot of different reasons. And there's a system by which you can become an American citizen, but it's not, it's not the cleanest, it's not the quickest, whatever the case is. I think that, there could be things done to make these things better. I think there could be things done to attack the problem or target the problem at its source, which is, people flying in, people crossing borders. I think it's more important to fucking clamp down on these sources of entry for immigrants, for illegal immigrants. I don't want to have to live my life worried about being seen as if I might be illegal in some sort of fashion. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to fucking, like, why does my life have to become that much more difficult? Where like, oh shit, I forgot my wallet. Oh no, I don't have my ID. Oh shit, I can go to jail. Like, I don't want to have to live my life worrying about this silly, stupid shit simply because somebody else isn't doing their job somewhere else in America. You get what I'm saying? Like, do your fucking job and leave me the fuck out of it. Don't bother me for my fucking ID when I'm walking up and down the road, because fuck you. That's why.
In the enforcement of immigration laws, meaning they defy the federal law. For example, in D.C., a cop cannot ask somebody, hey, can I see your ID? That can be seen as racial profiling. The same applies in many different cities as Chicago and other places. And the reason why we chose to do this video on sanctuary cities is because just over the weekend, New York City, a video's been going viral showing 200 immigrants standing around saying, hey, New York City, hey, Mayor Adams, you said you're a sanctuary city. Since spring of 2022, you've attracted 93,000 people coming because you said, we'll take you. As a matter of fact, 3% of all hotel rooms right now in New York City are being used for migrants. That's 3,500 rooms out of 125,000 hotel rooms. Where to go?
Wait, but are they paying for the rooms? Because if they're paying for the rooms, who gives a fuck? What? That's money, son.
Government's paying for it. So.
Oh shit, the government's paying for it? Nah, get them out of there. Get out of there. You're not using my tax dollars on this bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. No.
Sanctuary cities. Good idea. Bad idea. What's the solution? We're going to talk about that today.
Oh shit. Yeah. I mean, I don't like the fact, like I said, bro, I don't want to have to live my life, worried about whether or not, oh shit, do I have my ID in my pocket? It's not to say that I don't normally have it, because if I'm out and about, I'm probably driving myself. But if I leave my fucking, if I leave my wallet at the crib, or if I lose my wallet in general, which I've done once or twice, there goes my fucking ID with it. That shit goes out the fucking window, and then now I'm fucked. So one thing, 100%, like I understand, like, but the question is, do I have to inconvenience myself in order to make this work, or is there something else that can be done in the system? I don't think that, illegal immigrants should be able to just come into the country and set up shop or set up a tent wherever the fuck they want. Like, that's just not the system. That's just not the way it works. And then also, that's very dangerous, because if just anybody can be roaming the streets, if it just anybody can come in, how do you control whether or not they're good or bad people coming in? And well, Gxxsei, what's good or bad? Well, good, I would say, are people who want to come to the country to start a new life, to make opportunity for their children, and to be, a fucking tax-paying citizen. You get what I'm saying? What's bad? Well, the ones who come here because they have some kind of ulterior motive, like, I want to, like, destroy America, or I want to smuggle in drugs, or I want to keep, like, the gun trade alive, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Pieces of shit, essentially, is what I don't want to come into the country.
So if you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. So let's talk about sanctuary cities. So in America, when you get pulled over, they arrest you, they fingerprint you. The police department is supposed to send that report to the FBI, and then FBI to ICE. ICE can come back to that police department, including sanctuary cities, and say, we want you to hold them for 48 more hours because we're going to do our due diligence. Sanctuary cities release the person and say, no, you can be left alone because we're worried, because if we don't do this, immigrants will no longer call the cops, because if immigrants don't want to call the cops because they're worried INS going to show up, and if they don't call the cops, they're not helping local police officers.
Oh shit, that's deep. That's pretty deep. Yeah, I guess what you really need to be looking at is the crime rate, and also the tax revenues. Like, the crime goes substantially up per capita. You get what I'm saying? Like, per whatever amount of people who are now living here. Like, did the rate of crime go up proportionally? I mean, if the rate of crime went up less in comparison, when you were bringing in more of these other individuals, then I guess, they're not really that bad, right? But then also on the other end, you would look at, like, well, are they paying their fair share? Are they paying into the very same system that they're benefiting off of? And I feel like if you have, like, check marks on these two things, then yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, like, because it's like, well, they're showing up, they're not causing problems, and they're contributing to society. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Where's the problem?
To make sure the criminals are being caught, so we can't scare migrants. So that's why we don't check their IDs, because we got to kind of work together. That's kind of how the sales pitch is, right? So now let's look at the pros and cons on how both.
I mean, it does sound like complete bullshit, though. Like if I read this on paper, I'd be like, no, sanctuary cities don't work. If I read it on paper, no. But, like, once you start introducing all the nuance and shit like that, then it's like, okay, well, I could see how it could work, but I don't know. I guess all in all, like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to walk around with my fucking ID, I don't want to be profiled, but, that's probably going to happen anyways. So, yeah, no, I guess no. Sanctuary cities, thumbs down.
Side sells of pros. Those in favor of sanctuary cities. Number one, protect undocumented immigrants from deportation.
I don't know why you want to do that. Like, it's like, I get it. Some of these people have, like, a very good reason to like try to flee wherever they're fleeing from. I don't know. Like, this is one place where you have to play by the rules. You got to play by the rules, and that's all it is.
It's kind of like the thing I was talking to you about. Let's not scare these guys. Number two, they promote community trust. When undocumented immigrants feel like they can trust local law enforcement, they are more likely to cooperate with law enforcement and report crimes. Number three, they are good for the economy. Undocumented immigrants often contribute to the economy by paying taxes and starting businesses and spending money in local.
You see, that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, I could see how that helps the situation and doesn't make it seem like such a parasitic thing.
Communities. So that's the pros. Now let's look at the cons. They make it harder to enforce immigration laws. Number two, they encourage illegal immigration. Some people argue that sanctuary cities encourage illegal immigration as they create a safe haven for undocumented immigrants. Number three, they are a waste of taxpayers' money.
Okay, so you see here, kind of like, like, are they generating, You know, like if their waste of taxpayers' money is what they're paying out in taxes whenever they contribute, whenever they purchase something, whenever they start their own little local businesses, whatever the case is, you know, is that offsetting? Or is one more, like, is one way worse than the other?
Some people argue that sanctuary cities are a waste of taxpayers' money as they often require additional resources to implement and enforce their policies. For example, Mayor
Like what?
Adams, with all the problems he's having, guess who he's asking for money? The federal government. So let me get this straight.
Uh-oh.
Do you live in New York City? Maybe you're in LA. Maybe you're in Miami.
Yo, we made it.
Maybe you're in Fort Lauderdale. Maybe
Yo, that's also in Florida.
you're in Dallas. It doesn't matter. You are now responsible to help support what's going on in New York City.
Oh, that sucks. I don't like that at all. I don't want you using my money for that. There's so many other things to use my money on. Don't use it on that. Please. The fuck is going on here? Is this just steady, bro? Damn.
Even though that's not where you live. Do you see what happens with taxes? So they eventually go to the federal government to say, we need money. Matter of fact, the top 10 sanctuary cities, federal funding, you know how much they've been asking for? $2.27 billion. Who pays for these cities? Federal funding, you know how much they've been asking for? $2.27.
Wow. Wow. 2.27 billion. Huh. Damn. I mean, like, what do we spend on? What do we spend? Isn't that more than what we spend on, like? I feel like that's more than what we spend on, like, the military. Let's look that shit up. Military budget 2023. Trillion. All right. I was thinking about billions. Yeah. I forgot it was. Yeah. The last time I saw this number, I thought maybe it might have been 900 million, but it was definitely 900 billion. That is so much. In the fiscal year 2023, Department of Defense had we're still in the year. 1.77 trillion distributed amongst 6 subcomponents. Agencies spend available budgetary resources by making financial promises called obligations. Man, that's so much money. Holy shit. Oh, here we go. President Joe Biden has signed the fiscal 2023 National Defense Authorization Act into law, allotting $816 billion to the Defense Department. That's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money. I mean, in comparison, like, I don't know. Is this a big deal? I don't know. Do I want to pay into this? Not really. I think the money could probably go elsewhere, but like, how much money is really going towards this? I guess that's my question. You know, and I guess the greater question is, should any money be going into this at all? I mean, I don't mind it. So long as in like a big chunk, so long as it's not like, you know, so long as it isn't a whole fucking percentage point of the budget, like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Well, then what's enough, Goosey? I don't know, bro. Like 1/4%? Not even. That might still be too much. I don't know, bro. Like 0.01%, you know? And then have that there as funds that could be used for this type of shit. And then everything else, you just got to use, you know, your fucking local collected taxes and shit like that. Yeah, figure it out. I don't know. Not my problem. And like I said, just make it insubstantial enough where it's like not taking a big chunk of money that could be going to other things and fixing, like, I don't know, the fucking roads that are full of fucking potholes, or, you know, fixing old bridges and shit like that, you know, or getting the fucking power lines underground. Why is it that we live in Florida and we still have power lines above the fucking ground? That is so fucking stupid. We are the state that has been the most smacked up by hurricanes. And yet the majority of our fucking power is in poles with lines that fucking get knocked down and become fucking hazards, especially when it fucking floods in this bitch and you get a down power line. So now that entire body of water is fucking electrified. Like, that's fucking insane. Like, it's 2023 and that's still how we're living. So yeah, I mean, like, if this money is going towards sanctuary cities to allow illegal immigrants to live there free of charge, and it's not going towards putting these fucking power lines underground, then yeah, we definitely have a fucking problem.
$7 billion. Who pays for that? You and I do. Let me just give you an idea about what some people have said about sanctuary cities on both sides, and I'll give you some testimonies of what's happened with some criminals in sanctuary cities. President Biden has supported sanctuary cities and has called on Congress to pass legislation to protect them. Mayor Garcetti of LA has said that sanctuary cities are a matter of life and death for undocumented immigrants.
For some of
Senator
them,
Bernie Sanders has said that sanctuary cities are moral imperative and has called on Congress to pass legislation as well to protect them. Now, against sanctuary cities, President Trump has said sanctuary cities are an affront to the rule of law and has threatened to withhold federal funding from cities that do not cooperate with ICE. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has said sanctuary cities are a threat to public safety and has urged the Justice Department to take action against them. And Senator Ted Cruz has said sanctuary cities are a haven for criminals and has called on Congress to pass legislation.
Yeah, no, I think both sides are kind of like going a little bit over the top here. I don't think it's as bad as some of these guys are making it out to seem, but at the same time, like you know, I'll be honest, like I think I agree with Bernie on this. You know, I think I could say I agree with homie on that. Like, it seems as if, you know, there is some, you know, as far as like being like trying to be the ethical leaders of the fucking world. You know, we should show that it's okay. Like, bro, the entire basis of this fucking, you know, the Statue of Liberty was about, like, you know, give me your weak and your poor, you're starved, you know, all this shit, you know, and like, you know, that part of that dream of will be the new thing. In fact, like, America's one of the youngest countries in this goddamn world, bro. One of the youngest countries, you know, and it's like, it's built upon principles of immigration. It's built upon getting the fuck out of here and going somewhere else in hopes of something better. And like, you know, whose fault is it besides our own for having created this image of ourselves that is literally like the global perspective? You know what I'm saying? Like, people either think that America is bullshit and fooled with like idiots and assholes, or people think that America is like the final destination. Like, that's the top of the top. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the fact that like it's one or the other says a lot about how we've carried ourselves and our public perception over the years. Now, that being said, I think they're exaggerating this shit. I don't think sanctuary cities are really that bad of a deal. Now, like I said before, so long as you're not taking too much of my fucking taxpayers' money and contributing it to this kind of shit, you know, I think there's a healthy number that they could fucking reach that isn't, you know, a slap in the face to people who don't want to support this, but at the same time, you know, kind of fulfills that ethical or moral requirement of, you know, like, you know, as leaders of the world, we are responsible for leading. So, like, let's show them, you know, how to be good, you know?
That would defund them. Now, what kind of crime has been done in these sanctuary cities? Let me give you a couple stories. Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez, undocumented immigrant from Mexico who was convicted of killing a woman in San Francisco, California in 2015. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Luis Barcamontes is an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who was convicted of murdering 2 police officers in Sacramento, California in 2014. He was sentenced to death and is currently awaiting execution. On March 2022, a man named John Massine, a citizen of Haiti and illegal immigrant, was taken into custody for the murder of Terry and Brenda Altman and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Dog, you see, like that's a big problem. You know, like, that's a big problem that, like, you know, how do you come into this country trying to escape whatever fucking hellhole you came from, and then you just contribute to trying to turn this into that same shit that you were trying to escape from? That, to me, makes no sense. And individuals like this, bro, like, you know, shit. Here, part of me is like, put him in jail forever. But then part of me is also like, oh, shit, that's right. We fucking pay for that, too. So it's just like, you know, I don't know, bro. Like, sending them back obviously doesn't work because they figured out one way and they'll figure out another. I don't know, bro. I don't know. How about this? Like, chop off their fucking limbs. Let's go fucking old school with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, chop, you know, like fucking, you know, oh, they committed murder, turn them into fucking nuggets. You get what I'm saying? Chop their legs, chop their fucking arms, and then bar them from getting any kind of disability. You know, force them to live like the pieces of shit they are. You know what I'm saying? Where they can't even fucking feed themselves. You know, I don't know, fucking chop off their limbs, toss them in the desert. Chop off their limbs, right? I'll be okay with this. Fucking cover the medical costs to make sure they don't die from that, right? So surgically remove their fucking limbs and then toss them in the fucking desert. That's it. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Let them spend their last fucking moments baking in the hot sun, turning into a fucking corpse. Because go fuck yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself for trying to bring that bullshit over here. Like, we already have enough of this bullshit as it is. And what, you're coming to our country to try to find fucking the new way and a new life, and you're trying to make something, and then you just end up bullshitting. Like, no, bro, go fuck yourself, dude. Like I'll put it to you like this: like, as an American citizen, I feel like giving other American citizens like 3 fucking chances, for sure, by all means. But giving some fucking random individual who just comes to this fucking country and no, bro, you get one shot. You get one shot and you fuck it up, get the fuck out. That's it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it just needs to be like that. It just needs to be like that because, like, you're assuming that, like, oh, I deserve all the same treatments. It's like, bro, you're not even here through the proper means. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, you're already breaking the rules. So like, yeah, we can maybe let that slide, but you only get one shot. You only get one shot. You fuck that up, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? We don't want that.
Antonio Ulysses Perez, a 38-year-old illegal alien from El Salvador accused of rape after the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office failed to honor an ICE detainer and released him from custody.
Damn. Imagine being the person who fucking who let them go. You know, imagine being that guy. You must feel like shit, bro. It must feel like damn, I'm the reason that shit happened. That's exactly what that person must be feeling. That's crazy.
So some of you may be watching this and you're for sanctuary cities. You may say, that's unfair, Pat. You're doing exactly what these guys are doing. Look at the names you're reading. You know, that's racial profiling. That's not fair. Well, we have to look at stats. And sometimes these stories are not easy stories to look at. So then the next conversation becomes, do illegal immigrants commit more crimes than legal immigrants?
Or do illegal immigrants commit more crimes than day-to-day Americans?
And this is what Cato Institute tells us. In 2018, the illegal immigrant criminal conviction rate was 782 per 100,000 versus legal immigrants was 535 per 100,000.
Yeah, but then here you go. And 1,422 per 100,000 native-born Americans. So, like, it's like, isn't that fucking crazy? That like if you're born in America, your odds of committing a crime are are higher than if you came to this country illegally. Literally twice as much, almost, right? Like, if you put those numbers, you almost get twice as much. That's fucking impressive. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to burst our shoulders off just a little bit, right? Now, the stat that I really love here is how low the number is for legal immigrants. I could genuinely appreciate that, because that shows that like people who go through the proper channels to try to get into this country more often than those who don't, and even more often than those who are even given, you know, who have the birthright since they were born here. It shows that these individuals understand the importance of you know, the process, and understand the importance of, like, listen, I'm coming to this country, I don't want to fuck it up, you know, and like that to me speaks volumes.
Meanwhile, it's 1422 per 100,000 native-born Americans. So
that's crazy.
Legal immigrants commit the fewest crimes in America, people who came here illegally, okay? Then it's illegal immigrants. Then it's native-born, people that were born here, right? Those are the ratios you're looking at now. Some people will say, well, it's not correct because illegal immigrants, you know, how do you track them? They're not documented, so you can't really, the numbers would be higher. It's skewed, you can't really do this. Fine. All I'm telling you is the number. So if we ask the question, there's 4 of us here, we're talking about this stuff. We asked the question, Mike says, I agree that illegal immigrants would commit fewer crimes than Native Americans because they're afraid of being sent back to their country. So they're more careful to not do anything. That is an argument that can be made. However, these are the numbers. When Trump was president, he made November 1st the National Day of Remembrance for Americans killed by illegal immigrants. He put the number 63,000. This is something that is concerning to a lot of people in America in different places to live. So now, I got some thoughts on this that I want you to be thinking about. Point number one, let's just say you're a sanctuary city and you're defying government law. Government, I'm not going to follow your guidelines with ICE, all this stuff. We're not going to do it because we're a sanctuary city. We want to make these immigrants feeling comfortable when they come here. But hey, you know, we're going to need like $2.27 billion. Can you please send us some money because kind of need your help to defy your laws, but can you please, because we care about immigrants more than our locals. I mean, I know it kind of sounds contradictory, but send us some money, please. We need your help, right?
Obviously,
we're not going to follow your rules. Do you see how stupid that sounds, right? Here's the next part too. Immigration. America's got 51 million people that are immigrants here. Give or take the number, we're number one. And you got some of the other countries, like Russia, I think, Saudi Arabia. You got to give or take the number, we're number one.
Let's see. We're always number one. What's good? America first, baby. The U.S. has more international migrants than any other nation. Number of per country in millions. Holy shit. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. It kind of feels good. I think it feels good to know that, like, we're such a diverse fucking country, you know? And don't get me wrong, the population is still, you know, there's still a majority, you know, or did I say majority? There's still a majority here, you know what I'm saying? The majority of people are, you know, Caucasian, fucking Anglo-Saxon descent, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I mean, I don't know. It's good. It's good. I like the thought of America being a melting pot, you know? Like, I grew up being taught that this is the one place in the world where kind of every little bit of every little culture kind of gets to come together, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't think there's any other country, in my personal opinion, as beautiful as America, you know, as the United States. And yeah, we might have a lot of bullshit, we might have a lot of controversy, but fuck, dude, you know what I'm saying? At least we're willing to accept others, you know? At least we're willing to try to create a system that attempts to work for everybody. And I think that's healthy as fuck. I think it's healthy. I think it's beautiful because it makes our culture one of the best cultures that exists. Period.
Take the number, we're number one. And you got some of the other countries, in Russia, I think, Saudi Arabia. You got some of these other countries that are there. Great. I'm an immigrant. I came here legally. I lived in Germany at a refugee camp for 18 months. I remember living there. Local Germans didn't like us because we kind of did cause havoc, and we messed up their culture a little bit. They didn't like us. It wasn't like, well, we're Germans. And we're like, well, I'm from Pakistan. I'm from Afghanistan. I'm from Czech. I'm from Yugoslavia. I'm from Albania. I'm from Poland. Well, you know, this is, you know, you come here and mess our stuff up, and you're getting together with our daughters and messing up our culture. So that was a little bit uncomfortable for them, right? Finally, I came to the States, and I'm grateful to be here.
You're messing with our daughters. Yikes. Yeah. That's a big point, huh?
There's a couple things we have to be thinking about. What's more important to protect? People that are here or people that want to come here?
Damn, that's a good question. What is worth more protecting, or what is worth protecting more? There you go. What's worth protecting more? I mean, first and foremost, like us, like Americans. Americans need to worry about Americans first, and then we need to worry about the rest of the world second. Now, like that, I feel like the line kind of gets blurred there because, like, how many Americans are immigrants or are children of immigrants? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, but they kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking now about, it's almost like as if you ever played, like, you know, like when you play hide and go seek or whatever, you know, like it feels like America is base, right? And it's like the moment you run up to the tree and you tap it, you're safe. And I feel like that's how a lot of people see this place. Now, they would also look at it like if they have family elsewhere, they want their family to have the same opportunity they have. They want them to come over, all that bullshit. So, you know, in a sense, it's like, you know, is protecting the rights of immigrants, you know, equal to, protecting the rights of Americans, you know, like, and I think to a certain degree you can argue that yes, but like, let's put it on a scale here, right? I think this is like 20% or 30% of our interest should be in protecting the rights of immigrants, right? But I believe that the 70%, like the super majority of what we should be concerned about is making sure that we improve ourselves and our way of life and our quality of life, rather. I think that, like, as an American, you know, you should value your people first. And yeah, you could have pride about whatever country you come from, but at the end of the day, bro, like, you made the move and you came to America. You get what I'm saying? Like, you chose to be here. And in choosing to be here, you know, it's not to say that we're trying to shut the door on everybody else, but fuck, dude, like the process really needs to be clean and cut, cut and clear. And I feel that like you're not, the problem with these types of arguments or these types of like issues is that you could see from either side how it kind of supports the other one as well, but at the end of the day, it's like I feel like the problem isn't with actually wanting immigrants. I think the problem is with the process by which immigrants can become naturalized, or can become citizens of a country. I think that's where a lot of the work needs to be put in. I feel like maybe there isn't enough. They probably don't have enough people working this shit to have the system work. Like okay, how about this? Why send money to sanctuary cities to try to improve their ability to house illegal immigrants when you can instead send that money or try to use those resources to improve the immigration process? I feel like that would probably be a better use of funds.
It's a valid question, right? Who's more important? Well, of course it's Americans. Do our policies protect more Americans, or do they protect more people coming here? Well, Pat, you're not being empathetic. You don't understand. These people have a very tough life. Totally get it. I understand, right? But you can't say that and then you say, wow, why are we involved in all these wars? Well, these guys have tough lives. But let them solve their own problems. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I agree with that. Like, why are we involved in Ukraine? Why is that our fight right now? Like why are we there? Why are we sending so many billions of dollars that way? And then like, okay, if I was Ukrainian American, I'd be like, no, you need to support the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an American and my people also come from here. So, support. But it's just like, yeah, dude. But like, once again, you're here. You made the decision to abandon your status as a born citizen of this other place. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Some places have like dual citizenship. So like you could still be a citizen of this other country, but then, you're also a citizen of America. Like that shit's kind of weird to me. And I understand like why it helps as far as like traveling and if you want to go visit family, this, that, and the third. But dude, like, but you're in America though. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, fuck all this shit about us having to worry about somebody else's problems. Like you came over here because you're trying to get away from those problems yourself.
So you can't say that, yet you say, let's do this, yet your city's a mess, and Mayor Adams is here talking about how they're in a conflict in New York because the citizens of New York are not happy because of what's going on in the city, but he still wants to be a sanctuary city because you understand how complicated this is. Let me give you another conversation here to be thinking about. Do you know what percentage Americans adopt? 2 to 4% American parents adopt. Now,
wow, that's a fat chunk. That's a decent chunk. I mean, okay, right? 2 to 4% isn't a big number, but when you take into consideration how many millions of parents exist, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure in America, there's over, 100 million parents. You get what I'm saying? There's like 120 million children. So, between that, you got about 240. So you probably got about another extra 100 million Americans who are just like somewhere between here and there. They're not kids, but they're not parents either. Right? Just common adults. I mean, with that kind of percent, it turns out to like 2 to 4 million people being adopted. You get what I'm saying? And that's big. I think that's a big number. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Would you?
You're giving these children the ability to grow up in a home that they wouldn't have otherwise. I think that's beautiful.
You adopt? I got a question for you. Would you adopt?
Would I adopt? Yeah, if I wanted children. If I wanted children and for one reason or another I couldn't have one or for whatever reason I couldn't have children, anyways, not gonna get into details, but I think, I would love to adopt. But here's my thing though. Like this whole thing of like, oh, I want to adopt some little child from fucking, this other random country in the world. How many children do we have in our own foster system? Like how many children in America are born and for one reason or another end up without parents and end up in foster care, end up being abused, end up having shit lives and end up having every reason to to not be a good person later on in life. You know, and I'm not saying that there aren't those individuals who go through bullshit and overcome that. Bro, more power to you. More power to you, and thank you for being so strong and determined. But, you know, like, we have our own load of children who need homes. And it's just like, you know, like yeah, like, what's it your responsibility to have to take care of them and so on and so forth. But dude, like, at a certain point, like, you know, you have to question, you know, like, what's more valuable, taking care of our own or taking care of everybody else?
You may say, I think so. Okay, fair. You know what percentage of Americans support adopting? 33%. But only 2 to 4% do. You know what percentage of Americans are like, well, sanctuary city is great. You support it? I do. Give us that one bedroom you're not using. Well, no. Let them go to somebody else's house, but not my house. What happened? Do you see the leak and the contradiction and the hypocrisy in these arguments that eventually, when it comes down to the individual, they say no? Now, why do some people adopt? Some people adopt because they can't have kids. Some people adopt because they want to give back to the community.
Okay. All right. That's bullshit. Adopting to give back to the community. Like, listen, if you live well above your means, and your heart's coming from a good place, and you want to, you know, because you have abundance, you know, you would like to help someone else have a better life than what they would have being fed to the foster system or growing up in one of these war-torn countries. You know, like, I mean, I get that. It's just like, at what point does that kid stop feeling like a charity case?
They want to give back and contribute. Some people adopt because they go to church and a church is doing a sermon and a message saying, hey, there's a lot of kids that need help. Here's some stories. And somebody prays. They say, I want to go give back and I want to adopt. And some people say, I will only adopt children that are under the age of 2 because I don't want to adopt older kids because they're going to take my kids.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's a scary thing too. Like, imagine, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you adopt like a 13-year-old boy. You adopt a 13-year-old boy, and let's just say you have a pair of daughters who are, you know, maybe 13 as well. Well, I mean, like, he's a fucking 13-year-old boy. Like, he's gonna be, you know, his head's gonna have different things, and at the end of the day, homie's gonna, you know, like, I'm not gonna say this is every fucking case. Of course it isn't. You know, that'd be wrong to fucking put a blanket statement like that and like a catch-all. But, you know, there is the worry of like fuck, like, what happens if, like, homie rapes my daughters? Like, that shit's scary as fuck. Yeah, I totally understand that, like, why people would want to, like, adopt babies, but it, like I said, it really sucks. It really sucks. You know, I don't know in what system would work best to be able to get, like, these older children out of foster care, you know, out of these situations that are more harmful to them than helpful. Maybe, maybe, there's gotta be people out there who are willing to adopt these children, you know? And I think that also, once again, that speaks towards, like, the foster system and how, like, broken it is, because, like, if one of your worries is things like what I just mentioned, then that means that obviously whatever's going on in the foster system is not dishing out great citizens. You get what I'm saying? It's not dishing out contributing members to society.
There's a lot of different ways to adopt. Now, ask the question why some people don't want to adopt. Well, I can't afford it. Fine. Number 2, I think it's going to mess up our culture if they come into our house. It's just going to really mess it up. And my kids are doing good. I don't want to confuse them. What if this kid that I'm adopting has drug issues and has seen stuff, and they're going to tell my other kids, and my kids start picking up the habit? I'm a little bit worried. These are all valid conversations that people have.
100%.
Okay? Very valid conversations. But the idea of us, the way we sell America,
yep.
I want me as an immigrant, I owe to America. I owe to the founding fathers. I am grateful to America.
Bro, me as an American-born citizen, I feel like I owe America. You understand? I feel like I owe this great country every bit of service I can dish out to it. You understand? Like that, but that to me is just patriotism, you know?
I don't look at it and say, what can America give me? I look at what can I give back to this country? Because
Amen.
I owe America. Some politicians want to say, no, America owes these guys. I think we're not making our priorities in the right place. There's many problems in the world, many of them. If we want to solve every single one of them, it'll come at a cost of us going bankrupt. You saw what happened to our rating. Fitch just downgraded us from a AAA to AA plus. This is the first time since 2011. So we're spending so much money, we're in so much debt helping everybody else's problems that our credit cards are maxed out and we're being downgraded. Yeah, but what are you saying? We shouldn't send our money to Ukraine? We sent more money to Ukraine last year than Russia has in their military budget every year. We could have spent that $70 to $100 billion in America. You know how many problems we could have solved? So many of them. Cops in schools, protection for our kids. There's so many veterans. There's so many things we could have done. So many things we could have done. But no, we're spending money because we want to solve everyone's problems. So
yeah, you know, one of the kind of policies I kind of like agree with, you know, and I feel that like unless there's some massive interest that we have in somewhere else in the world, and therefore, you know, like there's a legitimate claim to, you know, a national security issue. Yeah, for sure, go get involved. But I think for everything else, I truly believe in America first. I believe in, like, you know, and it's almost like they tell you about love, right? Like it's impossible to love someone else if you don't love yourself. And I think that's very true. So I think that like that same notion should be applied when it comes to like how we run our policy, you know, like you can't help somebody else when you yourself are in need of help. You know, it's just not going to work. You know, you're going to end up doing you're going to do a half-assed job. You're going to do a half-assed job. And that's not right either, because then that's where a lot of the fucking, that anger kind of fucking forms, right? Where it's like, oh, they said they would help us, but then they just really did this. Well, yeah, no shit, because they didn't have shit fixed for themselves. So they tried to do everything they could, but what they could do just didn't maybe meet the promises that they made. So now you're looking at them like they're liars, you know, and that's a big problem too.
So what's the message here? Don't do immigration. This is the melting pot, Pat. We shouldn't do that. No, I'm grateful that they allowed me to come to America. But you just keep the door open and say anybody and everybody, forget about the border. You know you don't believe in that.
Yeah,
you know you don't live that way. You know you don't live your door open for anybody to come in. Why should America do that? Do you see how that sounds ridiculous? That's why Sanctuary City doesn't make sense to tens of millions of people in America. If you got value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you've not seen my video I did on the DC disaster.
This is great.
DC is the city that you can't ask people for ID because it's racial profiling. Wait till you see the stats on DC, how much of a mess it is. If you've never seen that, click here to watch it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
That was great. That was great. This is a really good video. Hey, listen, hey, look, bro. Hey, listen, Pat. Hey, bro. Hey, listen, you got that thumbs up, dude. For sure, bro. That was great, bro. I love how he presented both sides of this issue. Overall, like, what's my takeaway from this? You know, I feel like there's other places where that money can be used that's going towards sanctuary cities to relieve them of their issues. I feel like we need better processes for immigration. I feel like that's where the problem is stemming from. And it's like you're trying to fix it by doing other things because, well, no one can seem to come to agreement on how to fix the original problem. So you're trying to find other ways to fix the problem. It's like the boat sinking. So it's like, well, instead of repairing the hole, you're trying to put duct tape on it. Well, the duct tape doesn't work. So now you're trying to use glue, and then the glue doesn't work. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bunch of people trying to try everything else except to fix the original fucking problem. That is the big fucking issue here. You know, it's not necessarily that these sanctuary cities exist, but it's why these sanctuary cities exist. It's the fact that we can't seem to agree on a fucking process that works, you know? And in the meantime, you know, we have holes in the system that allow people to fucking circumnavigate the rules and make their way here illegally. Bro, I don't think that's fair, you know? I don't think it's fair that you have individuals who come to this country and fight and work, you know, to be here legally, and then you have other individuals who just take advantage of the system afterwards. You know, I'm not saying that all illegal immigrants are bad. By God, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that, you know, we need a process to make sure that these you know, illegal immigrants can naturalize, you know, that they can become Americans more efficiently. That also takes a look into what kind of person they are and so on and so forth. Like, I don't know, like, why not do psych evals? You get what I'm saying? Why not, you know, why not have these people do like, you know, psych tests so that, you know, a trained psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever the fuck can give like an honest output as to like, yo, okay, this individual exhibits signs of X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Give them all these weird tests. Give them all these weird tests. You know the kind of test they give you where the length of the test is so long that the whole purpose of it is to kind of wear you out by answer 30, so that like the next 70 answers that you got to answer are like as honest as possible, because you're just so tired. Your brain doesn't want to give a fuck about like having to bullshit. You know, like do certain, you know, like do something better. You know, like do better. That's it. Just do better. Do better.